Hi, my name is Lauren Roberts, and I will be your professor for your online class this semester. This video is going to give you an overview of how your online class is set up in Desire to Learn, which is also known as D2L. D2L is Horry Georgetown Technical College's learning management system. Now, I'm using my Bio 102 course as an example, but all of my online courses are set up in roughly the same way, so this overview still applies to you even if you're not taking Bio 102. So first of all, if you look at the 9 squares here that I'll click on, all of the courses that you're taking that have a D2L kind of presence should show up on this list here. So if you wanted to choose another class, that's how you would do so. But what you're now seeing is basically the course's home page. And so you'll see that there are kind of notifications that there are assignments due. There are some links on the calendar over here telling you that things are coming up due as well. Technically, you can click on these and it will take you to the assignment, but I actually recommend that you don't use that feature, and I'll explain why when we actually talk about how the content is set up in this course. Additionally, I will be posting news items, which are announcements that will include information on upcoming due dates, important things happening on campus, and other kind of important information. So make sure you're checking this homepage regularly for when there are news items for you to check out. So anytime you want to come back to this page, you're just going to select the Course Home tab up at the top. But you're going to be spending most of your time in the course in the Content tab. So I'm going to come back to that and talk about the other tabs real quick, and then we'll talk more about the Content tab and how you actually access course materials and quizzes and stuff like that. So first, let's take a look at the Assignments tab. And you'll see here that you see links for discussions, Dropbox, which is how you kind of upload written assignments and stuff like that, quizzes, surveys, rubrics, and groups. Now, we will be using discussion boards, Dropboxes, and quizzes in this class. I also use rubrics to help grade things. So if you ever need kind of a direct link to them, you can find them in the Assignments tab. However, I also provide a direct link for you in the Content tab. So you really don't need to use the Assignments tab, because if there's a Dropbox assignment, a quiz, or discussion, it's going to be linked in the content itself, which is going to be an easier way for you to access it. Under Communications, you're not really going to use this tool either. Please note that I do not use the D2L email tool. It's a very kind of clunky tool. It doesn't work very well. So I prefer that you email me through the Horry Georgetown Technical College email system. Now, tools, especially these first two items under tools. So attendance and grades are going to be really helpful for you. I do keep track of attendance so you know where you stand at all times in lecture and lab. This is also where you will see your grades. So as I grade things, they'll get generated and posted in the gradebook, so you'll know where you stand in the class at all times. You can check out the other things under the Tools tab. The class list, I believe, lets you see other students in the class. The calendar lets you see kind of upcoming due dates and stuff like that. Other than that, I don't really use that Tools tab very much, or you won't use it very much. So as I mentioned, you're really going to be spending most of your time in this Content tab. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So this Content tab, first of all, if you click on this overview kind of up in the top left, I have a little kind of welcome page there that gives you a little bit more information about me. It also lists ways to get a hold of me. So it has my campus location, my office phone number, my email address, and my office hours. I also offer virtual office hours, so you do not have to come to campus. And to access my virtual office hours, you just click on this Microsoft Teams virtual office hours link. And whenever I am doing in-person office hours, I also have my Microsoft Teams page open, so you can just drop in to either, in person in my office or to my online virtual Teams page to get a hold of me. I am also able to meet with you outside of office hours by appointment. So if you want to get a hold of me during office hours, you don't need to make an appointment. You can just drop in anytime. But if it's outside of office hours, just contact me and we can set up a time that works for both of us. You can try to just stop by my office, but I can't guarantee I'll be there unless we have an appointment set up outside of those office hours. Right, so on the left-hand side, you can see where it says table of contents. For the most part, you can kind of ignore that, but we're going to take a look at the Getting Started module and then the course content module. So let's start with the Getting Started module. You'll see that I have some sub-modules underneath this Getting Started module. So this Getting Started module is set up to help you kind of become oriented to the class and make sure that you're getting access to important documents and understand how to do things like submit an assignment or a quiz. So when you start with the class, you're going to click on Getting Started, and then you're just going to start at the top and work your way down. So you can see here, I have some important documents that you should access the first week of class. The course schedule, I recommend that you actually print that off. I put little check boxes on it so you can make check marks as you complete items throughout the semester. The or the instructional package and the instructor's course information sheet, these two documents together kind of make up something that would otherwise be called a syllabus at another college or university. This has important information on procedures and policies associated with the course, so make sure you read through those to know how to, or how you're going to be graded and assessed, and to learn a little bit more about different resources on campus. I also have some information about your textbook, and for some of you, you have to purchase a lab kit. For some of my classes, you have to purchase access to something called McGraw-Hill Connect. So all the information on how to purchase that, or those resources or access those resources, are going to be found here. Then there are some getting started assignments, and there's just these links here. So once again, you can access a lot of these assignments through that assignment tab up at the top, but you don't have to because I've linked them for you here. So it's easier to just kind of start at the top of the content page and work your way down. I also have a link to some helpful websites. These are associated with Horry Georgetown Technical College. Things like the library website, tutoring services, Tech Central. These are all really handy websites if you are looking for access to resources that the college offers to you for free. And so you can just click on the link and it will take you right to that resource. And once again, I just kind of want to show you, for example, if you're looking at your textbook information, you can just click on that link. And it might look like there's nothing on the page. D2L does formatting and stuff a little bit weird, but just make sure you scroll down because that's where the information is. All right, so just make sure after you click the link, if you don't see anything, just scroll down and you'll find it there. All right, after you go through the Getting Started module, you can then jump into the course content. Now for my classes, I integrate lecture and lab content all together into either weekly modules or chapter modules. And so you can see here that I have them kind of in like chapter modules here. Once again, you always want to just start at the top and work your way down. And that's the best way to move through this course. I try to make it as easy as possible for you. So for example, in this Bio 102 course that I'm showing you here, there's a Bio 101 recall quiz assignment where I give you a little bit of information up at the top. I included some links to an assignment guide, the section in the textbook that might be relevant, maybe included some other kind of relevant resources as well, and then a link to the quiz itself. So after you read through all of this introductory information, you can just click on the quiz link and it will take you right to the quiz. Now, I can't start the quiz because of the way that I'm logged in, but you should see a button that tells you start quiz so that you can start that assessment there. All right, after you work through that, you can click on the next one And once again, I always give you kind of a introduction up at the top, usually a link to your textbook or other relevant materials, instructions on what is due, kind of associated with this module. I try to give you a funny little cartoon that is relevant to the material as well, so you can laugh at that. And then once again, just start at the top and work your way down. Now, you'll see that there are oftentimes videos or possibly reading assignments, and I give you this kind of lesson guide to help you take notes so that you can basically use it as a study guide for the exam that's going to be associated with the material. And then if there is a quiz involved, there will be a link to the quiz. If there are kind of lab activities involved, there will be links to those as well. All right, so it's pretty easy peasy. Like I said, I tried to make it as straightforward for you as possible. So you're going to spend most of your time in the content tab, and you're just going to start at the top of the kind of table of contents here, and then you're going to start at the top of the module and work your way down. Now, earlier I said that, at the home page, you do have these links to upcoming assignments here on the right, but I recommend that you do not use these links because, for example, if I click on this Bio 101 Recall quiz, it bypasses all of the lesson materials that I gave you to help you learn the material you need for the quiz. So it takes you right to the quiz, but now you're not seeing the assignment guides, the notes taking directions, links to videos, and stuff like that. So if you're looking at the course home underneath this calendar tab, it's a great way for you to use it as a calendar, but don't just click on the links because then you're going to miss all this other information that I have in the content section that you need this background information in order to actually succeed in that quiz. All right, I hope that this was helpful to you to kind of learn how to work through the course. I am, of course, open and willing to help you. So if you have any questions, feel free. Once again, you can click on that overview tab and you can find where my office location is, my office telephone number, my email address, my office hours, and a link to my Microsoft Teams virtual office hours. So these are all great ways to get a hold of me if you have any questions.